So for our vocabulary card, I have 9 words here, and I'll just put on that last one. And we're going to label this vocab. And this was lesson 5. And these are nouns or substantives. And we're going to start our accent card now, and we're going to backtrack a little bit and put on some of the rules that we had for the verbs. And so in the text, we're going back to number 11, and we're going to write down this here, verbs. And these are recessive. And again, generally, they're thrown back as far as possible from the last syllable. So the position of the accent is determined by the last syllable. And we are going to write those down. Essentially, it's this 1, 2, and 3. All right, so now we're caught up to putting our accent rules on for the substantives. And in the text, that is going to be starting at number 26. And also adjectives can be substantives, so instead of labeling this as nouns, I'm going to label it as substantive. Okay, on to lesson 5. So first of all, I would just like to say that if you notice that I make a mistake, let me know in the comments. I'll correct it. I'll give you credit for that. So here we're going to want our vocab cards handy, probably our conjugation of the verb and the declension of the noun, and we're going to get going into translating these. So number 1, litho. This case is either the locative, instrumental, or the dative. We don't exactly know. We have no other context to give us a clue. So we are going to translate this as in a stone, at a stone, with, by a stone, to or for a stone. It really could be any of those. Cosmo, this is either the genitive or the ablative. It would mean of a world or from a world. We have thrown Now this is plural, and this is thrones. It is also in the genitive or the ablative, probably of thrones or from thrones. Number 2, logoi namu. Here we have a plural, words of law. Number 3, lege oxlo. So we've got a verb here. This is in the third person singular for he, she, or it, and this is the word for speaking. So I would translate this as he is speaking. And we have a locative, instrumental, or dative, as indicated by the iota subscript here. This is probably to a crowd, but it could be with a crowd, by a crowd. Number 4, another verb. It is in the first person plural, omen. This is we are receiving. This is in the accusative. It is the direct object. It's the word for bread. We are receiving bread. Number 5, oxlos akue logon damu. This is in the nominative. It is going to be the subject. So a crowd is going to be the subject of this sentence. Here we have akue. This is that third person singular he, she, or it. In this case, it references the crowd. And the rest of the sentence, logon namu, a word of law. Okay, now we're to the translate into Greek part. In a place. So this is, well, it is the locative actually. So in a place, we need the word for place, which is tapo. And we're going to have to put that iota subscript down. Tapo, in a place. Of a world, we're going to put the word for world in the genitive. Of a world. Number 2 is for a friend. The word for friend is philo. And we need to put it in the dative case. Here we have some plurals, laws of thrones, namoi thronon, he takes a stone. So here is a complete sentence as we recognize it in the English. Subject, verb, direct object. For he takes, we need the word for take, and we're going to put that in the first person, or I'm sorry, the third person singular. So we need that EI ending, lambane. And we need a word for stone in the accusative, lithone. A little bit more of a complicated one in number 4. We have bread for a world. So the word for have, we're going to put in the first person plural with we. We're going to use bread in the accusative, our tone. For a world, we're going to use the word for world in the dative. Ye speak to crowds. Second person plural ete for legete, and the word for crowds is plural, and we're going to put it in the plural dative. Legete ox lois.